Mocha family, I am really excited to talk about this morning because in 14 years of homeschooling, I have never done this, and it is so basic and it is so simple and effective that I felt like I needed to come on here and share this with somebody. And I really wanted to name this video Greatest Discovery Ever for Homeschooling, and it's so simple, and I'm sure some of you are already doing this, but stay tuned. Before I go any further, I'm feeling a little self-conscious. For those of you that don't know, I started my locks in October 21st, and I've been doing monthly updates on the 21st of every month, so that's why my hair looks like this. And I'm about to hop on my treadmill to do some light walking for my new weight loss journey. I have that video also from previously, so I wanted to get that out of the way in case you guys are like, what in the world is going on with this look of the day? So that's what's going on. But I wrote everything down because I didn't want to forget what I said. This year, for the first time ever, I took 2 weeks off for Christmas winter break, and it's because I was done. I was finished. I felt like I had nothing left to give to the girls, and I felt like they were burnt out and that they were done too. And so rather than going halfway into the week before Christmas like school does, I decided to take the whole week off before Christmas and then Christmas week and then I started school like after the Monday off after New Year's on Tuesday. And so I was very introspective during the break, thinking about all the ways that I had messed up and all the things that had gone wrong, and trying to figure out what I would do to fix that in the spring. And typically I do this, I reflect and I try to make a plan to improve things, but when I do it by myself, or maybe I talk to my husband, or maybe I talk to my friends, and we try to figure out what I could do to make things better. I have never, ever included my kids in this process. But yesterday, you know, I texted somebody, one of you out there, you know who you are, and she was saying that she was starting school light. And I thought about that for a minute because I was actually planning to do a regular school day, even though I was kind of dreading just jumping back into it without saying anything to my kids. And then I said to myself, why don't I do math? Because we need to plow through math. But after that, why don't I have a time where I talk to the girls about what they thought about the semester that passed, and I could use that as an opportunity to kind of, you know, acknowledge the things that I did wrong and, you know, make a plan with them about what we can do different with them, with the ones that are actually learning, the ones you're actually trying to teach, the ones you want the love of learning to come alive in. I thought to myself, why don't I talk to them? And it's so obvious. It's so obvious. But my way of assessing them in the past is through watching them and through tests and through, you know, whatever, narration or whatever. But, you know, simply talking to them yielded this right here, and it blew my mind. One of the major things that I was down about is that I switched curriculums because I wanted to have a richer one-on-one time with my girls. I was using a Becca video before, and we did have one-on-one time in the sense that if there was something that they needed further explanation, I would be able to sit with them and work with them. But it was inconsistent. If they were flying through a unit and they understood everything well, there was very little one-on-one time. You know, I did a lot of grading, so I knew where they were at all times. But that, come on my lap, let's talk about this. Let's go get a video. Let's go look at a book from the library to further delve into this. There was very little of that, and I missed that from more hands-on curriculums that I've used in the past. So I wanted to re-implement that. But the trouble is that my life got so hectic in the fall with trying to situate my daughter with what she was doing, my oldest daughter, and actually working with her on some independent study classes which required my input, and then putting my 14-year-old in that umbrella school that is kind of like a private school in many ways, and trying to manage her and trying to answer her questions, and even trying to get her to stay on track and not distracted. All of that always had me feeling like I was jumping through hoops when I'm in the dining room trying to work with the younger two. And even the dynamics between the two of them, of just trying to figure out, okay, they could pretty much do a lot of their work independently, but math, because we switched curriculum, and this curriculum that we're using now, Math Mammoth, I have a video about it, is a little bit more rigorous than the curriculum, the Abeka that we were using in the past, or it's different. The pace is different, the expectation is different. And so they need help. So, one of them would set to work and they would have a question, and then the other one would have a question. And I came up with this whole system where, this is the book you read while you're waiting for me to answer your question. But the trouble is, there were times when the question that was asked took a significant amount of time. So you have that other kid waiting, and they didn't have a bad attitude about that, but I felt the pressure to hurry up and get to the other kid, and I'm supposed to be enthusiastic and happy about whatever lesson I'm doing, but just the pressure of keeping the ball rolling, and Mom, what's for lunch? Mom, where did this go? And the regular household questions that come when you're all in the house and you're all living together and people are doing different things at different times. My husband coming down the stairs and having something he needed from me. All of that really made it difficult for me to feel like I was 100% in of all this, quality time with the younger ones, like what I wanted to do, and what to some extent this curriculum kind of demands a little bit to do some of the more hands-on aspects of the curriculum. So I started to feel really condemned about that. I felt like I don't have them in front of a video where the lectures are structured and planned, and that's what they're supposed to be doing, so I don't have to be in the mix. But now I have them in the dining room where I'm supposed to be sitting here and working with them, but yet I can't really fully do that in a way that's not uninterrupted and fragmented. And sometimes I would forget what I was doing, and it really felt out of my control. And then there was the pressure to get through the whole thing. With all these interruptions, time is ticking. The phone is ringing, your friends are calling or texting and having questions and things. And I feel like it's all that I could do to handle what's right in front of me. And I didn't feel like I was succeeding. The image that comes to mind is somebody that's juggling, and then the balls start falling. That's what I felt like. And, I felt really bad about the one-on-one that I wasn't giving them. And so, I thought their perception was the same until I actually sat down and I talked to them. So the place I started with was, what do you think? Am I giving you enough one-on-one? And they said yes. They said it wasn't that. They said that's one of the things that they liked about this new curriculum, that they felt like they were getting more one-on-one. And that's the number one thing I was condemning myself about. My one daughter, my youngest daughter, who is really bright, she's very bright. She's a way above average bright. And she said that with the math curriculum that I've been sweating bullets over, she said that she loves that so much better than Abeka, because Abeka was too easy for her. She felt like she was always coloring bears and counting bears, and she got it and she was ready to move on, and that the pace was too slow for her. I mean, those weren't her exact words, but that was the gist of what she was saying, that the pace was too slow for her, and that she wanted to move on. And so she likes this curriculum where she's jumping right into it and she's being challenged and she's learning things that she's never seen before. And with my other daughter, she did say that she felt like the math was challenging for her, but she appreciated when we slowed down and didn't take one day to do the lesson, but broke the lesson down and did it over 1 or 2 days or even 3 days if necessary. One complaint that she had about Math Mammoth is the fact that you know, they plow straight ahead, you know, and she felt like they went from concept to concept to concept in one lesson too quickly, and that she felt like she wanted to just practice the one concept and get it really well before she moved on to something else, or had to learn 3 new things in one lesson. She just felt like that was too much. Excuse me. That doesn't always happen, but to her, it happened way too much. The thing that blew my mind that I did not see coming was my 11-year-old's evaluation of the kind of curriculum that we're using. I really get excited about the idea that we're doing a themed study. So right now she's studying the Middle Ages. So all her history books, all her writing activities, you know, her language arts, all of it is tied into the Middle Ages, and her geography, and she's working on a notebook for it. And I was really excited about that, because to me, the more ways she gets it from every different angle, the better she'll retain the material and the more exciting it is. I believe that's kind of like a unit study type of style of teaching and learning. Her number one complaint is, okay, already. Everybody is saying the same thing. All the books are saying the same thing. I feel like I'm reading the same thing and doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Everything doesn't have to be about the Middle Ages. And so I was blown away by that. And then I thought about it, and I realized that at her age, what we're trying to develop in her is an appreciation for detail, and she doesn't have it yet. And so for me, you know, yes, they're talking about the same period and all the major informations are the same, but now we're talking about it from the servant's perspective. And now we're talking about it from the noble's perspective. And now we're talking about it, you know, from how the people from other nations are looking in and seeing it. And she's not really picking up those fine details. And I recognize that part of the process is working with her and teaching her how to do that. But I just was blown away that she's not appreciating it in the same way that I'm appreciating it. And so what I plan to do is to introduce books in language arts that have nothing to do with the Middle Ages for her to read, so that she feels like she has a break from it from time to time. But I would have never known that if I didn't ask her. And I wonder how many other kids might have the same impression, that it's boring to only look at one period or one subject or theme at a time. So I'm really excited about this discovery, you guys. It's so silly, but I feel like I'm gonna go around and talk to all my kids about what they actually think about what we're doing and ask for their input, because they're the ones that are learning. And chances are I might be beating myself up about something that's not what their perception is at all. And I'm so glad that I took the time to ask and find that out, so that we could do the real work. We can move forward and make the changes that matter. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and how you're doing. How was your fall semester? And you know, what's spring looking like for you? Be blessed.